The goal was what would happen if the 69 Ford was brought to current times, and that was the design criteria that we had. 10 years ago, we took on the project to create the Ford F-2000, and that's what you see today. I love the style of an original 69, but no matter what you did to the truck, they still look like an older truck, and they didn't look like they were going fast at all. Dan Ellis and Pete Morley over at Prototype Concepts were given the challenge, and Dan, the designer of the body, actually tried to create what would happen if it was brought into current production. So a lot of the design elements you see are not normal for a regular pre-runner, where you might just bulge out the fenders. When we set out to design the truck originally, we didn't want to lose too much of its original heritage. So the hood is obviously a dramatic redesign of what was originally built for the truck at the time. We kept the original grill insert. So on the front of the truck, those are original Ford grill inserts. But for example, we trimmed down what was the original style grill. We added a crown to it, which brings a little bit more to a modern current time. And then obviously a lot of vents and fender flare and stuff like that. F-2000 started off where we wanted obviously to make it street legal. The goal was to make it a street legal working pre-runner. So we retained the original twin I-beam. We wanted to stay with the original theme of the truck, and except it's obviously, I think we're at 28 or 31 inches front wheel travel on it right now. The motor, we wanted to do something else unique at the time too. And at the time, when in order to have a truck that would run down into Mexico, or pre-running and stuff, people were running high compression engines, and then you get down, and if you're not carrying race fuel with you, it makes it difficult to basically keep the truck going if you don't have someone following you with fuel. So we designed the truck to actually work on PMEX, at which it's set up at around 650 horsepower when you turn the boost down on the twin turbo motor, and then when you get race fuel, because someone's carrying it down for you, you can crank it up to 1200 horsepower. So the goal was that it allows us to run PMEX when we need to, and when we've got the ability to have fun, we crank it up to 1200 horsepower, and it's got all the horsepower and torque you can imagine. I wanted to start with a big block, and the original reason for that is the goal was to make sure that the motor was extremely reliable. So we wanted to have a non-high revving motor, and we wanted to make sure that we were using a platform that was obviously going to be very strong, so that you could be down in the middle of nowhere and it would get you home. That was the original goal. So the motor was based on a 460 Ford. It's run at about 8.5 to 1 compression, so when we turn the boost down, we're able to run low octane fuel. It's twin turbocharged, and what's new right now that is actually brand new, actually, as of this discussion we're having right now, is that the Ford F-2000 is now becoming a fuel-y, so it's brand new. Prior to this, it was an enclosed carburetor, so it was a twin turbo pressurized carburetor, and we wanted to, at the time we were getting about 2 miles the gallon, and so our range was very limited on where we could go because we have about a 55-gallon cell. We also wanted to be able to experiment with higher boost levels, so we then set out to build the fuel-y F-2000. The project was based on a number of people and sponsors that helped the project. It's an AEM-based system with Blackhawk injectors. We have an amazing, we're looking forward to everyone seeing now, is the new Hogan's manifold. The original theme on it was to make it have a style from a 1969 Indy car, when they had the original turbocharged motors at the time, and they had the plenum chambers, the big plenum chambers running across the top of the motor. So you'll see that the style of that was something that we took from an early Indy car. But with the combination of the new fuel injection, we're able to run the boost up higher. Our fuel management now is we're running about 4.5 to 5 miles a gallon, so we have a 200-mile range. So everything's working out really good. But as far as anything unique, we've got an idea for a trophy truck engine combination for one of the years upcoming that would pretty much top any motor that's out there running, and we're looking forward to launching that here hopefully in the next 2 years.